My, we're back for my first live of the day 5, day 6 of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. Super excited. If you guys don't know by now, you've been sleeping under a couch or under somewhere behind a couch. I don't know. Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle is back once a year. $1,850 worth of stuff for just $50. 40 resources that will completely blow you away. Today we're going to talk with Lindsay, Durian writer. Yeah, she knows all things durian. She contributed an amazing brownie, durian brownie, into the group appetizers book. And today we're going to go into, what was it? Oh gosh, the secrets of the durian industry. I was thinking misconceptions, but no, it's the secrets. So we're going to invite her in. She's on retreat right now. And excited to bring her in here. So she's out in Thailand and sharing the durians. She knows more durian than almost anyone I know. And I got my durian shirt on right now, Lindsay. Check that out. I had to rock it.
All right. I got my durian shirt on too.
Nice. That's awesome. How's it going? Hello. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you guys. You got a black shirt on.
You had a fruit hunter shirt on earlier today.
I had a swim in the ocean with it.
Yeah, we just got back from a snorkeling trip, so that's why our faces are all a little bit red.
That's awesome.
We've been outside all day. Yeah.
You guys probably have durian on your shirt as well, being out there and you know, running around, getting a bunch of durian, eating it all the time.
I might actually have durian on this shirt. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I know you guys are screaming busy, running around, having a lot of fun with a cool group. It looks like so much fun.
The group is great. Always get really blessed with really good people.
Yeah.
Something special about durian. Yeah.
I gotta join sometime. And just so everyone knows, if you don't know, these guys too, they share durian retreats and all over the place and share it. You're the durian, the best durian in the world, mail order direct to your door. I definitely recommend you check them out and go on a durian adventure at some point. I'm going to do that myself.
Yeah, we'll look forward to you coming to visit.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, you know what? I found a full durian yesterday out here, but
I saw that.
It was $50. It was $50. How much is the durian there? Yeah, for one.
6 times like 3. I guess it'd be like $18, $20.
Nice. That's not too bad.
Expensive. That's a high price right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the beginning of the season.
You don't have to eat that many durians until you have your airplane ticket paid for.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I guess it is the beginning of the season. Hey, and when I said $50 too, it was actually a pretty small durian. Are your $20 durians decent size?
I'm thinking like 3 kilos.
Yeah. I think this one was about 1.5, maybe, so half the size.
Oh, what kind was it?
I'm pretty darn sure it was Monthong. It said Thailand. I didn't inspect it too much because I knew that I couldn't get my heart set on it because I didn't want to purchase it.
Really small for a Monthong.
Yeah, it was like this big.
Was the tip pointy or was it flat?
I'd have to look at my video to be honest. It felt pretty round.
I want to see. Send me a video.
Yeah. I'll send you the video. I didn't like do the video super good, but I did it decently.
We probably can tell the variety. It's really fun.
Well, if anyone could, it would be you. I mean, I assumed it was Monthong because that's almost the only type that I see fresh out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you eaten the fresh one?
Right now, no, because I figured, you know, like I was getting a durian. So I'm actually making some durian cookies from Raw Chef Yin's recipe in our group book. Yeah. And I actually was looking for some freeze-dried because I wanted to make your brownies, but I haven't found any yet. But that's something that's on my list to do, 110%.
We can send them. Yeah. We can send you some freeze-dried.
All right, awesome. I'll be making some brownies when they come here. Then that'd be amazing. Thank you.
On Monday. Shipping Monday. You can send that over. Yeah.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. But when I hey, Chef Yin's in here. So when I bought the fresh durian to make Yin's cookies, I knew that I would use the frozen durian for cookies, but I didn't want to buy a $50 fresh durian and use it in a recipe because I knew I would just eat it straight up. And I have so much going on. I was like, I'll wait until it's a little bit more key season and maybe a little better price.
Yeah, I'd be curious what the cheapest price is in Sweden.
I know a wholesaler that does carry durian sometimes. This one called Zia Frucht out here. So I figure I'd rather go there too because it might shave the price down. Who knows, 15%, 20%. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Curious. I mean, it's air flown, so it kind of depends on what the prices are for flights right now. So a lot of that is like the wholesaler doesn't have any control over it.
No, exactly. Yeah, sometimes when I've mentioned like, you know, when the prices really went up on gas and stuff like that, and I'm like, well, these bananas are expensive. He actually got a little mad. He's like, but gas price is so high. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I was just saying it's kind of expensive. You know, I wasn't trying to criticize or anything.
I mean, it's like, I think it's hard being in the middle there because you do take some, like, people are like, oh, it's like, it's really expensive. And you're like, yeah, but do you know how many bills I had to pay to make that possible, right? Like, stacks up.
Yeah, exactly.
I think people don't think about it. They assume there's a huge profit margin.
Yeah.
And sometimes there is, and sometimes there isn't. And I think it just depends a lot.
Absolutely. And then, yeah, who knows, maybe the season isn't as good. And like, there's so many variables, right, that could totally affect the price. And on the receiving end, it's just like, I want cheap this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, why isn't the thing that I want affordable?
Yeah, exactly. Why can't I just surround myself in durian in the middle of winter in Sweden? What's going on here? You know, like, but you can if we mail order from you.
Yeah.
You can.
You can.
It's possible.
Exactly. It is possible.
Yeah.
So this kind of segues, I think, into, I want to respect your guys' time. I know you got a lot going on. Into our topic here today, all about the durian industry. You know, you don't have to let loose the biggest one. Oh, what's going on?
Show you.
Oh, yes. Yes.
You want a tour of our fruit stash?
Mm-hmm.
There
Oh my
go.
gosh. Oh, I love those mangosteens and the snaky fruits.
You ever
What kind of beans
seen
are those? Are those ice cream beans or what are they?
petai? This is called a petai bean or a stinky bean, Parkia speciosa.
Very delicious.
They're very yummy.
You
They're
get them
very
raw.
savory. I'm sure you would find a use for this in your recipes.
Yeah. What kind of
Probably
stinky
burgers.
flavor? Are they stinky smelling but not stinky?
No,
They're really umami.
Yeah,
Okay.
umami and garlic.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can clean my screen here real quick. Hang on.
Okay. Oh, you're on
Okay.
the beach too. Hey, yeah, 'cause you just got some. Wow.
Umami
So
and
awesome.
garlic.
Where exactly are you guys right now?
We're on Kuchang Island, which is on the border with Cambodia.
Wow. How many times have you been there?
We got quarantined here during COVID,
Yeah.
so we were here a long time.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
this is one of our places we know very well. We like it still.
so for people that don't know, how long have you been enamored by durian and just like, it's just been so much a part of you that it drove you to create Year of the Durian and make durian your life?
I first tried durian in 2009.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It tasted like ice cream to me. And I was at a place in my life where I had figured out I had a dairy intolerance and I had gone vegan. But in rural Oregon or in my part of Oregon, there still were not a lot of good vegetarian ice creams, right? It was like, I still don't like rice milk ice cream.
Yeah.
Bad rice milk ice cream. I never liked tofuti.
Yeah.
Tofuti is not nice either.
Yeah.
So that was one of like the key things I was having a hard time with cravings for, was just like ice cream, and durian kind of filled that niche for me. So I got into a bad habit of every Friday after work driving to the Asian store and picking up some durian ice cream. And I would like, not ice cream, but like actual just durian packets, right? And I would put it on my heater of my car while I was driving home. I would like hold it there, and then when I got home, it was ready to eat.
Yeah.
So I got a real habit of durian for.
What a filthy
about a
habit!
year.
Jeez, that's just. Oh man.
You know how much it cost back then?
I'm guessing because I know I really started in Canada. I was able to get durian in the mid 2000s for like $1.49 a pound is what I was getting it.
Yeah, my first durian I ever bought was $1.69 a pound.
Yeah.
And those packets I could buy were $5.99.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, you know. Is it inflation, or is it just like because they have more, they're like, hey, we can make more, or is it because there's so much demand that they're like, well, we got to charge more? What do you think it is? Why the prices have gone up so much?
The Chinese got into the market. So here we go into the secrets of the durian industry. The Chinese got into the market and the prices went up. And now there's hot competition, and all of the warehouses are like fighting over farms, and the Chinese guys drive around farm to farm to farm and try to find farmers who haven't sold yet and like get it all. And they take the entire farm if they like show up. There's nothing left. Yeah.
That's like it's like the durian mafia.
It is.
Yeah. No, but it's fine. It is, like, people have contracts and the farmers break them because someone else comes and knocks on the
Higher
door at higher
price.
price, and people don't get the delivery. And
The
yeah,
greed.
it's
The
messy.
greed of man knows no bounds, and it should never go towards durian. Do they have like guns like yo, you're selling our durians now?
I don't
There
know.
are
It's possible.
there is like a murder like every year in Singapore over durian. It's like a
Wow.
stat.
Wow.
Somebody gets
What?
stabbed at the durian stall.
I know that durian is one of the few fruits that does annually kill people just dropping out of trees and landing on heads. I think them and coconuts.
Yeah.
It almost killed us.
Yeah, we had a
Yeah.
real close call recently. So
Really?
a little more
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah, really bad. We were standing in the orchard. The farmer picked up the 3-drop durian, flipped the basket, and opened it. And we're just standing around the basket. And then it dropped another durian just in between us, straight through the basket, crushing the durian we're trying to eat. And I had my hat on me, and it just flipped.
Wow, that's so sketchy. That's so sketchy.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of anyone like working the orchards, like having a durian hat, like a special, like an
Yeah.
army like helmet?
Sometimes people wear hard hats.
Yeah.
If you're working out in the orchard for a long period of time, it's probably wise.
Yeah.
Especially if you're working in the time of day when the durians drop the most.
Yeah.
So there's like durians, those cells that are the ones that release the durian to drop.
Yeah.
Are really affected by the temperature.
Yeah.
So apparently the morning time, like the early morning, and then the afternoon when there's like fluctuations in like air pressure, that's when durians fall.
But you know, you
Yeah.
usually hear it also.
Yeah.
So you hear that.
They
And
make
then
a
you hear it.
they make a pop
And-
sound.
But you don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
If it's above you, if it's on your side, you just like,
It's like, I don't know if it's quite a sound or a feeling, but you hear it when it pops off the tree. It's like like a vacuum sound, and then you hear it like whooshing through the branches, and then of course it starts hitting stuff, and then you're just like, like where is it coming from?
Wow. And then you watch out for tigers because they're gonna come and want to eat it too.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
joking.
No, that's real. There's some
Yeah.
places where
Yeah.
the villages have to watch out for tigers because they like durians.
I heard they do really like it. I was just thinking it'd be funny to have like a official durian helmet, like a durian brand helmet for this, but coconuts do the same thing, and I've almost got hit by coconuts when I'm in the tropics, and I found that they did kind of drop like at those temperature fluctuations, and sometimes around sunset, and just...
Yeah, or a windy day. Don't go under trees. Basically, I've also heard there's some big mangoes that also kill people.
oh,
Right.
that's even worse during the windy
Yeah.
day because the fruits that usually drop are unripe and heavier than when
Yeah.
they're ripe. So even worse.
Yeah. Fun fact, I don't know if you knew that, Chris. The riper fruits get, the lighter weight they are if you put them on a scale.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess they lose a little bit of their water content. Would that be it?
Oh. So it's for the respiration. So they're still breathing, right? Doing their metabolic processes, and they breathe out water.
Yeah.
Well, they're just like us.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. I never knew that. That's really, really dang cool.
That's fun.
And I want to meet mangoes that drop and kill people because they're big mangoes. I mean, not for a morose gross reason, but just because those sound like really big mangoes.
They are really big mangoes. You can have like a 2-kilo mango.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine jackfruit could too. And speaking of all that,
Well,
what are some of the...
jackfruit-
Yeah.
Jackfruit doesn't usually fall off cleanly. It
No.
rots on the tree and then it falls off in like pieces, and that's
Oh.
disgusting. So if you get hit
Okay.
by a jackfruit falling, it's kind of like being hit by bird poop. It's like really gross.
It
Okay.
also grows close to the stem, so you don't really have jackfruits out on the branches.
No.
You can walk under them. But
Yeah.
yeah, it would
I
have been a
have been
potential
hit by it.
candidate for being number one.
But I have been hit by a falling piece of rotten jackfruit, and it was really gross.
Yeah, you weren't stoked. You were like, yum, I'm going to go for that one.
It was really gross. It
Oh.
was like rotten, like totally black, rotten, moldy, like wet. It was really
Yeah.
gross.
No,
Yeah.
no good. That's crazy. I've seen some loaded up jackfruit trees that and sometimes even looks like it's just right off of the main
Yeah.
trunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways you can tell a chimpedak versus a jackfruit. Like the jackfruits are more on the stem of the
Yeah.
tree, and chimpedaks will grow more on the branches.
I've learned 2 amazing facts that I had no idea about today. Actually 3, because I didn't know that there was that crazy competition in the Chinese mafia in with durian.
Yeah, so the durian industry is very interesting right now because it's in a growth period. So there's lots of intrigue and fighting and drama, you know?
Yeah, have you found that it's
Yeah.
affected a number of the farms that you frequent and that you've, connected with?
Yeah, we've been bought out from like someone we had a contract with to buy, and they sold it all to the Chinese.
Oh, way.
Yeah, because we're usually waiting for the riper fruits, and the
Yeah.
Chinese are willing to take anything. So they cut them too young, and so you get a lot of really young fruits in the market. And it's a real problem here to the point where the government is stepping in. So there's actually now a government regulation that is supposed to be regulating how young you can cut the durians. Because in Thailand, they don't really let them fall most of the time. They cut them at a certain period of time, right? And it's such a problem because you get a lot of customer complaints, right? Where the Chinese government actually complained to the Thai government, and so they had like a government thing. And so nowadays in Canterbury, there's actually like police checkpoints, and if you're a durian hauler, they'll stop your truck and check to see what percentage ripeness your fruits are, and you can go to jail.
That's
and somebody
awesome.
last year, there was like 2 farmers last year who actually went to jail for cutting their fruits too unripe.
I love it. I love it. It's like the durian needs protection, and we got to make sure that people are getting good quality stuff, not just whatever to get it out to market as cheap as possible or as quick as possible,
Yeah.
and probably not as cheap as possible, actually.
The price is high.
Yeah.
And other thing is that, like we talked about, the fruit actually loses weight as it ripens, and that's happening on the tree as well, right? As the fruit is ripening, it's losing weight, and that means that if you cut them unripe, they weigh a lot more. And because people get paid per kilogram, they get more money for
and you
unripe
get an early
fruit.
season price, so it's
Yeah.
like double win.
Man,
Yep.
that's horrible. And it's the younger durian is more crunchy and just less sweet and delicious, or how would you say exactly?
It doesn't ripen properly. So if you guys have ever purchased a durian that was like weirdly translucent and like absolutely flavorless, kind of tasted like onion water and socks, and it had like pieces that were kind of crunchy in it, that's an unripe durian.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
That's sad.
It. They call it durian on. There's a name for it.
Durian on.
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, that's making me think that I want to wait a little bit longer because this is the beginning of the season too. So I'm imagining it's possible these are the earliest picked durians, and hopefully when it gets even more abundant that they'll, wait a little bit more and get the best quality.
I'd probably wait till around May 15th.
Okay.
May 15th or May 20th, and then that's supposed to be more durian.
How is the season out there right now?
Kind of weird.
Is it?
But yeah,
It's been super hot.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the season was cold. Everyone was expecting a delay in the season.
Yeah.
And then it's just been super hot after that, and the season just
But hey,
speeded up.
we are about to release a video on YouTube that is our prediction for the next Malaysia season. So we kind of talk about the weather and that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys want to know what's happening this summer? You should check out our YouTube coming up this week.
And
But you see
where is that?
The YouTube video?
Yeah. Just so
On our
people know
channel.
your YouTube channel. What's it called?
Year of the Durian. That's our company name. That's our YouTube channel.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But-
That's awesome.
But the trees are flowering again,
Yeah.
which they shouldn't do. But
Yeah.
the season is weird.
It's
Yeah. So it's been weather. It keeps going between like being really really hot, which inspires more flowering, and then like kind of like a little bit of rain. So it just keeps going like this. And so some of the trees here have like 3 or 4 generations of flowers. So the season here in Canterbury is expected to go until like maybe July, which is really weird.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's a little extra long.
Yeah.
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 Normal season would end by like middle of June.
Okay. Well, that actually, you mentioned before Malaysia, and we're talking about what's going on with the mafia. I know from you I learned that in Malaysia they don't cut durian, they only let it fall. So how has that affected, have the Chinese tried to get the durians there and try and get them to cut them, or is the Malaysians just like, no, this is sacred, you can't do this? What's going on there?
I don't really want cut durians.
No, we don't
but
want cutting.
They are starting to cut for the Chinese market again.
But still, Malaysia is very small compared to Thailand in production.
Oh,
so Thailand is closer, and it's a market that they're more into. But yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Things will change probably.
Yeah.
The amount of durian that's produced in Thailand is several times more than the amount of durian that's produced in Malaysia.
Wow.
I don't
Wow.
have the current stats because there's been a lot of durian being planted, like a lot of durian being planted. So like I haven't looked at the new stats because like in those trees, like there's a bunch of farms that are now in Malaysia. They're like 1,000 hectares, like 2,000 hectares, like
Wow.
like farms on a scale that you like can't even imagine how big they are.
Wow.
And when those farms come on, they call them come online. Like when the trees start producing in like 5 years, it's going to be like a different story. You know, like I don't even know what to expect.
Wow.
It's gonna be a lot of durian.
So yeah, maybe we'll have a more durian-rich future, and there'll be more durian protection, and hopefully better quality, and maybe even better prices. Maybe we'll, who knows?
I mean, I think like Europe should hope for Africa, that Africa is growing more durian. It's closer, you can have faster shipment. I think the whole equator will be just a big durian.
Everyone grows
durian belt.
everywhere in the world.
Yeah, the durian belt. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like, everybody I talk to, you know, Costa Rica is growing durian, and Guatemala is growing durian, and Honduras is growing durian, and southern Mexico is growing durian, and Puerto Rico is growing durian, and Ecuador, and, like, on and on and on and on. So, like, yeah, things are changing for sure.
That's awesome. I have some good friends in Costa Rica that have multiple durian trees, and I've been blessed to have durian in Costa Rica and in Hawaii and in Thailand and a couple places, but can you even count on your hand and toes how many countries you've been and had durian?
Can you count?
You can count.
Sorry to make you do math and think.
Okay, that's correct. We went to Zanzibar in Tanzania, and India, and Sri Lanka, and Myanmar, and Thailand, and Cambodia, Vietnam, Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Singapore. Wait, I lost count. 12? Singapore? Outside it, I lost count of hands. Singapore.
That's quite good.
Australia, Indonesia.
I think I've been.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Cambodia,
Vietnam.
Vietnam, Brunei, Costa Rica, America, like Hawaii, Zanzibar.
Tanzania.
Oh, you're over 20. You guys are over 20.
There's.
I don't think so. I think they might be like 15 or 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, Singapore. Right.
Singapore.
11 for me.
And then I additionally have been to India and Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
I was already at 12 before I got to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're beyond the high.
Yeah. We can't do math.
That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot of durian places, though. Do you have maybe 2 or 3 that really stand out? And I mean, I've tried a couple boxes from you guys and tried from some specific places, but do you each have favorite places, and are they the same or different?
Borneo.
Borneo?
Yeah.
You like Borneo?
Yeah.
But Borneo is a huge island. It's not one country, right? People think that Borneo is a country, but it's not. It's an island.
But all the fruits that still grow there, and they're not really commercialized in a way like durian, and most of the fruits are here. It's such a wide range of varieties and often just seedlings.
Mm-hmm.
You can find amazing mangoes.
I'm excited to experience more of this. Ooh,
This
what's
is a
that
wild
guy?
mangosteen.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow.
We got a couple of them here. I had a chumong in here somewhere.
For people
We got
who
some-
don't know, durian's the king of fruit, and mangosteen is often referred to as the queen of fruit. And in the countries they're grown, are they often eaten together?
Usually,
Or
yeah.
not?
People believe that it helps with digestion and like keeping your temperature cooler.
It's hot and cooling. So I haven't figured it out yet. People say this is cooling, this is hot, but I think it has to do with hydration.
Yeah.
If you're eating durian, you're actually getting a little dehydrated, and you can start to sweat, and you feel warmer. Whereas mangosteen is sort of cooling. It's juicy.
That's a keen insight, and I agree. I think that's the same with people consider watermelon cooling and consider meat heating, and I think there's a big component, like you said there, between that and maybe digestion and all that stuff. It's really intriguing.
Yeah, our big tip for eating durian is always make sure you're fully hydrated before.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. I'm excited to have some durian later. And I have a big question here for blowing some lid off of something. I've heard before that durians that are shipped are dipped in like a fungicide or something like really sketchy, and you almost don't want to touch them and stuff like that. What's going on there?
It depends on where it's done, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see it happening in Malaysia. And the reason is that they get their durians very fresh and they freeze it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But once you start cutting the durians and you're having, it needs the time to ripen before you freeze them.
Yeah.
You can start having mold issues, and also you're having ripening issues because you cut it too early. And in addition, the varieties that have been chosen for the export market has a low ethylene production, so they ripen very slowly.
Yeah.
And then they will dip it in a solution of both fungicide and ripener.
Okay.
That's real. That's something. Don't want to ruin your fresh durian dreams, but I personally don't know if I would eat that.
No. And so what was there a clarity in how you can tell the difference between ones that maybe would or wouldn't be potentially, or you figure almost any whole ones that are shipped here?
Anything that's being shipped whole and it's not ripe on arrival, I would say is definitely having fungicide applied to it of some kind. There's some bad ones and some good ones. And it depends on the facility what they're using.
Mm-hmm.
You could assume that anything from Vietnam and from Thailand has that practice.
Okay, and that's more so for fresh rather than frozen.
Right. So if you're frozen,
no, it's for frozen also, because it comes to the factory and they put it in piles, and it will start to have issues if they don't do it.
Is there something? Do you think the shell is thick and hardy enough that if you're careful, it's not going to get in there? Or do you think there actually is exposure to the flesh?
We talked to a professor about it, and he said it was very, very little of the ripener that is actually in America only allowed for ornamentals.
No, I think it's a different compound. So it's an ethylene production thing called ectopon. And in that particular chemical is only used on ornamentals in the United States, but they do use variations of it in America on things like cherries and like peaches and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so you're already getting exposed to this stuff if you're eating commercial fruit in America or other countries, probably also in Sweden.
Yeah.
There's going to be some ones that are permitted.
But for the fungicide, I actually don't know.
Okay.
How much is absorbed and will come into the fruit and fruit flesh.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It is absorbed to some degree, but we don't know how much.
Yeah.
I don't know how many studies have been done on that. And there's nastier ones that are used, and then there are less nasty ones that are used. And again, that just comes down to the particular facility and what their practices are. But it's going to be really hard to know from your end.
No.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, I know in Europe in general they have stricter regulations than the United States. So hopefully, I mean, for us out here, but I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to do the best you can, right? I mean, it doesn't seem to me that.
Usually, you can find online like a list from your Food and Drug Administration or something, or the USDA for us, which would be like violations on particles found.
But
ppm.
yeah, there is a way to tell, at least for the ripener, if it's been used, and that is.
But it's not for foreign.
What?
They don't use the turmeric for shipments. They're not allowed to.
Okay.
Oh, durian fight.
Okay, so in Thailand, you can tell if they've used a ripener because they use a yellow powder, which is turmeric, and they use that to mark the durian so they know they've already applied the stuff.
Yeah.
But they also do it because they believe that the durian skin looks more beautiful when it's like a golden color. And some people believe that it goes into the durian and makes the durian flesh more golden as well. I don't think either of those are true. That's like a local folklore.
Yeah.
But in Thailand, that's how you can tell. But internationally, turmeric is not allowed to be applied outside of fruits, right? It's like there's different like regulations for when you're allowed to use different things and like which circumstances. And turmeric isn't allowed to be applied superficially to things, so they don't do it. So you would not see a coloration on the durians in their chip.
Wow, that's wild. It kind of shows too how inexpensive turmeric might be. You know, I know in Costa Rica I have friends who like they have turmeric growing on their property and it's just like a weed almost. They said it just takes over everything and grows all over the place. And if they're using it just to mark stuff, obviously it's an abundance out there as well.
Yes, yeah, there's a lot of turmeric.
Wow.
It's used like for like colors and stuff as well.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, that's a sad thing with durian is that a lot of the commercial stuff is, and especially the fresh durian, is questionable. There are a few companies shipping to the United States now in the packing box that I think are doing a better job, and that's also more reliable because you don't have to worry about the durian being picked too young, right? Because they ship it, they open it up, they ship it, and they know that it's going to ripen. And the other thing that happens is we talked about how fruits are breeding, right? So they're still breeding their whole time. And part of the ripening process, that metabolic process, is the fruits have to continue to breed. And when they ship fresh fruit overseas, they wrap it up in a box and then they seal it to prevent any smell coming out. And that actually kills the fruit and it stops that metabolic process and it stops the ripening. So this is why if you're buying fresh fruit and like overseas, it may be really difficult to get a durian that actually ripens. That's a really sad thing.
So all of this to say the best is to be on the farm and out on a tour.
Always. Always. But it's also a thing, you know, like we also are doing frozen durian mostly, and people have asked us, you know, why aren't you doing fresh? And when we look at the current setup of the industry, we don't see that fresh durian is usually a better quality than what you can do frozen. Because we can do it, you know, right off the farm, tree dropped, you know, all this kind of stuff, like, and you can gather it together and then ship it in a bigger quantity when we do frozen. That also keeps the price down for better quality. So that's what we're doing. Maybe someday we'll try our hand at fresh, but
or chilled.
Chilled, yeah.
There's a possibility, but I think it's super hard.
I don't think we'll ever get into durian that has to ripen in transit. You know, like I think that's just not good enough quality for what we're interested in. But I think we might try to do chilled sometime where it's like already ripe and then we ship it like on refrigeration.
Well, I can definitely vouch for the quality as I've had more varieties through you guys than I have outside of all my different durian exploration. And I've tried a fair number. I think outside I've probably tried like 5 varieties or 6, maybe more. But with you guys, I've tried, I think like at least 13, maybe more, maybe even 15 varieties at least. And they've all been super, super top quality, like in my highest durian experiences. So I can definitely vouch there. I am curious, with what's going on, how you said with the mafia, and maybe we don't want to say too much more. Have you ever been approached, or are you at all worried that like they're gonna try and be like, hey, yo, like no, like shut down?
No,
we're pretty small fish.
No.
So.
There's nothing like that.
No.
Okay, good.
It's hard competition for the fruits.
Sometimes you know, like we don't make it as easy on farmers as the Chinese, right? The Chinese make it very easy. It's like just sell me everything. I'll take all the different grades, and I don't really care how ripe it is or not ripe it is. I just want like something to sell. And we don't really do that. We're always like looking for quality and asking people to, you know, do things a little differently. Like don't use chemicals and don't cut it and like all this stuff. And they find it really frustrating because it's not easy. It takes more time. And
Well, it's an amazing service you do because, you know, I mean, obviously us being more health-minded and wanting to get the absolute best tasting, best quality, and least chemical residue stuff in the world, it seems like you guys are championing that cause and raising up the knowledge around durian. And is there anything, is there any like public movements or kind of resistance for durian, kind of the cause out there with what's going on?
Definitely. More people are going toward organics because they don't feel that it's healthy for themselves to be exposed to all the chemicals. They're themselves in their families. There is a rising in certain kinds of diseases here that are probably neurological and are probably somewhat caused by different pesticides that are being sprayed. And so like there's a nurse that we talked to recently who turned her farm organic because she noticed this in her hospital where she was working, and she got worried for herself and her family. And so I think in the last like 2 years, there's maybe 5 or 6 more farms that have gone fully organic and even gotten like the Thai license. So there's definitely starting to be a little bit more of a movement since I started, which was like 12 years ago. So I think things are changing.
That's good. It actually kind of makes me think of like, you know, the banana industry and, you know, Durian just being at the little teeny bit of like, you know, that bigger expansion and awareness and, you know, the realities around the farming and stuff like that.
Yeah, it went from something that didn't have a lot of value. People never thought people in the West would eat durian. Like even nowadays, they still don't think people in the West will eat durian. But they're starting to change.
Yeah, it has changed. Like the attitude has changed a lot these 2 last years.
Yeah.
Now people actually, oh, they like it. But before it was like, no, you're just joking with me. Stop it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
it's
like
kind of.
When we sold durian in America, they'd be like, "No way, Americans don't eat durian." Like, what?
Yeah, I've had a few experiences like going to some Asian markets in Los Angeles or in Vancouver, where they're like, you know, they have more abundant durian, and going in and buying a bunch of durians, and some older ladies they're being like, "You like durian?" I'm like, "Yeah," and like a few even were like, "Maybe we get married," and because it's so funny. No word of a lie. I've had some proposals because of being a blonde hair white guy with a bunch of durians.
That's really fun.
Oh.
Yeah. So, what are you most excited about with the raw vegan bundle right now? So you've been making a lot of stuff, including those yummy looking burritos.
Yeah, those were absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Lissa's wraps are insane. You know, I had Dan's manicotti. I'm excited for the durian cookies. And really, to be honest, I'm most excited about all this connection. You know, like I sometimes am a little bit, some people are amazed when I say this, but sometimes I'm a little bit of an introvert, and it's almost like cold water where like I'm afraid to get in, but as soon as I do, I'm like, yes, this was so good. And I feel so revitalized and so nourished. And that's sometimes how the bundles are for me, is like, you know, reaching out to a lot of people that I haven't had these one-on-ones with, and, you know, having inspired communication and conversations that also benefit others. And yeah, so those are the big things I'm really excited about. And also, I'm excited to see so many people saying they've got it and they're really, really stoked, and to know the difference this is going to make and the impact it'll have in spreading this sweet and juicy and sometimes smelly vibe.
What's another word for smell? Aromatic.
Aromatic. I always loved strong flavors, and you know, durian and noni, the first time I had it, I was like, I don't know. And then they both grew on me. And I will not put noni in the same class as durian in terms of like amazing, super deliciousness. I do like it, but durian is like, gosh, man, like.
Just wait till you try this one. This is going to definitely be in your top box then.
So how would you describe it again?
Somewhere between like garlic and pepper, black pepper.
But it has like a bitter aftertaste a little bit. That is.
We're just gonna start
like you try to
eating them.
They just pop out?
Yeah, they just pop out like this.
Are they soft?
They're fully ripe. They're kind of hard, but when they're fully ripe, they actually turn orange inside.
Ooh. Are they a legume or a bean?
They are a legume. They go on a leguminous tree, so they are nitrogen
fixers. It is a little bit like, I guess that's the seventh flavor, what it's called.
That's what it looks like when it comes out. It's got a little skin to it. But
it's a little cheesy.
Yeah. Definitely umami. Definitely. Yeah. You could do all kinds of really savory stuff with this. And the color is really green inside. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah. It has a sensation that's like a little bit tickling, spicy that goes up your nose, like wasabi, but not as close as like how strong wasabi is.
Yeah.
But it has that.
Maybe like wasabi, black pepper, a little bit onion. It's really
I could see that being good in some stews and some curries, or just by the handful.
It's really traditionally made in red curry.
Oh.
Like a red coconut curry. So we had that last week with the group. That was really good.
You know, I'm sure you have. Actually, I'm pretty sure you had a post on it. But one time when I was in Malaysia, I was, you know, I was getting as much as much durian as I could. And one time I bought like this giant durian in Lewis, up from Bali. Some people said it was like a real durian hotspot, and I might even be pronouncing it wrong. But I spent a whole bunch on this giant, like the biggest durian that I could find, and I brought it home, and it was like, I think, like you said, maybe picked early because it was a little bit harder and no flavor. It was basically like just the slightest durian flavor with more onion hints, right?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
so instead of using it for just eating, I ended up blending it up with some curry spices and a whole bunch of other stuff and turning it into a durian curry, and it was amazing.
Wow.
It was so good.
That sounds good. Yeah. Durian's very versatile. You can do a lot of things with it.
Yeah. Hey, oh, this is a big one. Have you heard and have you actually had firsthand accounts of people who have had like gone blind from drinking beer and eating durian? Because I've always heard that that is true. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Nothing.
So like this.
I've never heard about going blind.
Yeah, that's
People
what
say
I
you'll
was told
die.
back in the
I mean,
day. If you,
now I'm gonna do my rant here. It's like this thing when people eat fruit and they get diabetes, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I ate all these cheeseburgers, but then I had an apple and I get diabetes. Too much sugar. Yeah.
I
Okay.
drank
And
and
it's
then
like-
I had some durian.
and-
I died from the durian.
And then you go, I'm sure some people have died from it.
Yeah.
But like, if you go to the inlands of Borneo, people drink a lot for several days. And maybe they have a durian together with that. And they're like,
it was that stinky fruit.
durian killed them.
True fact, more people died from heart attacks when they're drunk. Like drinking increases your rate of dying from a heart attack, right? That's like one of your ways. So if you do that and then you, I don't know, eat something that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you could die just drinking too much than anything.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good to cross that off. Not that it's really a concern for me, but I had heard that multiple times. And when I first met durian, I was still drinking. So I was worried about that, but, well, not worried, but I was like, oh, like, sorry?
When did you first eat durian?
It would have been early 2000s. Like, I actually don't know the exact number, but I know, I mean, I went raw in 2003, 4, right? In spring of 2004. So it was just before then. I was living in Vancouver and going to Chinatown, and I really got into fruit in 99. So I was exploring different fruits and living in Vancouver around that time, you know, going to Chinatown, they had a bunch. And so I fell in love in durian somewhere between 99 and 2003, but I don't remember the exact occasion, to be honest.
Okay, but you were still like, you were vegan, but you were not like fully raw. You're still drinking alcohol.
I didn't go raw until I went vegan. Okay, so this is a very quick synopsis. In 99, I read Fit for Life and started eating more fruit and started eating fruit for breakfast every single day. And progressively over a 4.5-year period from 99 to 2004, I went from like meat eating and drinking and smoking all day and everything, but still fruit breakfast, to high raw vegetarian. And then I went vegan for 6 months, would have been, I guess, right around summer 2003. And then I went raw after that, after 6 months meeting Doug Graham. And when I went raw, I really fully was like, okay, I'm going to be like straight edge. Because before that, I was occasionally still drinking and still pot and stuff like that. And even cigarettes occasionally. That was one of the harder ones to give up. And then when I went raw, I was like, okay, this is like straight edge. So that was in 2004, so 19 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. But that's why you're so like cool, you know, like you've got like the skater music person persona, right? Did you play music?
I can't comment on that because that'll diminish it all. So no.
Like the kids want to do that myself.
I like to party. You know, I like to party with durian now.
Yeah, durian party.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have parties all the time now.
They're the best parties. They are absolutely the best parties, I think. I mean, the Woodstock Fruit Festival durian parties have been some of the biggest durian parties I've been a part of. But I know the durian parties you guys got going on out there and that you've been a part of are like the real giant ones. There's festivals of it, hey? Like durian festival parties and everything.
If you have friends and you have a durian and you're sharing it, it's going to be amazing wherever you are.
Yeah.
Durian is the best when you have people to share it with, definitely.
Hey, I have one more question. I want to respect your time. And please let me know when you're like, you know what, stop asking me the questions. But you mentioned when you first kind of fell in love with durian that you'd buy it frozen and then you'd put it on the heater to warm it up. Do you still like durian at room temperature, or do you prefer it cold if it's been frozen? Or what's your guys' preference for those things? And any tips or tricks around the most optimal durian temperature?
The durian
Yes.
that I was eating back
Okay.
then, I know now that it was a very low quality durian because it was hard. It was like an
Yeah.
ice block, right? You could like,
Yeah.
smash it. And so I needed to thaw it to even be able to take a bite of it. But actually, we know that good quality durian never really freezes hard. Like
Yeah.
we pulled durian out of like a minus 45 C freezer, and within a couple minutes you can take a bite. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't really. It's like ice cream. It doesn't really get hard unless it's a bad quality one, like we talked about, right? Unless it has like low sugar,
Yeah.
right? So
Low
I know now
sugar?
that like, I
Low,
probably
low sugar means more water, so that means
Yeah.
more ice in your durian.
yeah.
Okay.
So I know now that the quality of durian I was eating back then, I probably wouldn't be able to eat it all now.
Yeah.
I'd probably just find it disgusting. But nowadays, because I know a good quality durian is biteable when it's really cold,
Yeah.
I often really like to eat it frozen
Yeah.
because it's really smooth
Yeah.
and it is exactly like ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell. You, when you're talking and you're like having a hard time not smiling so much, it's like you can't. That's what durian does to you, doesn't it?
Like I don't know, like some of the varieties are so fiberless you can almost like lick them like an ice cream.
I mean,
cup, just like right off the seed.
Some varieties are even better frozen. It's like they perform better frozen.
They have such a good texture.
Yeah.
I'm a texture person, so
Yeah.
definitely. But it depends again on the durian. So like some of them, if they're like good enough, I definitely like to eat them fresh. But the majority of durians for me improve with being frozen because then you have like an ice cream top. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's so fun. Do you guys have an absolute favorite durian?
We'll never tell you.
Never tell us.
But
No, it's secret.
to be honest, we don't.
No.
It's the fruit quality. If the quality is super high,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what variety it is. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
And the weather makes it change every year.
Yeah.
So.
I can totally resonate with that. When people try and pin me down to my favorite fruit, yeah, it's like the toppest quality in my hand in the moment, and if I'm really pinned to it, then I can maybe shout off 5, and durian's definitely in there, but it's really hard to pick favorites. It's kind of like picking favorites with kids. It's not very nice.
No, it's just like, why would you have why they're just so good. Like
Yeah, they're so good. They're just so good.
All of them.
all of them.
Yeah.
As long as they're good quality.
Yeah.
But
So do you guys have any other? Sorry?
I got a durian delivery going on in the background. I see the text coming in that she's like ready to deliver the durian. So you text her back. But
Well, thank you again so much for coming on here, making time during your guys' schedule. Have so much fun with the crew. I see a lot of familiar faces and friends on there, and just so much love to you guys, and I just hope you guys have the most amazing time this week.
I'm so grateful that you kept us in the bundle and we get to be a part of everything.
Pulled everything together.
It's really fun. I know how much work it is for you guys, and we're going to try to participate as much as we can. But yeah, the dates just happen to align with our tour. So here we are.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. I'll have to talk with you even further in advance, especially if I want to try and skip over there. And whether it's not this year, or sorry, whether it's next year or in the near future, I'm going through some visa stuff. And as I've talked to you about before, I'm definitely 1,000% going to be coming on one of your guys' tours at some point in the future. I'll put a pin on that 100%, and really excited for it.
Always welcome, Chris. Anytime.
Really excited for it. Thank you guys both so much. Much love. Have fun.
Bye.
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 See you guys. Fuck. Oh, that sucks.